Hey, guess what? It is the Christmas podcast. That's right. We're just a couple days before Christmas here, Cindy.
It's crazy.
Yeah. The year's about over. We're getting ready to have Christmas. We got our Christmas decorations. We got our Charlie Brown Christmas tree. We got Santa over here on the motorcycle. I got my Santa shirt on. He's a motorcycle Santa that I got on. You got your Christmassy stuff on. It's a good time, man. Well, before we get started, just want to say thank you for joining the Steel Horse Thunder and Beyond podcast. And it's brought to you by Badass Beard Care. That's right. I know I'm probably looking a little scraggly right now, but Badass Beard Care makes me look good. I'm just saying, it makes me look good. It's great stuff, man. It's veteran owned. It's American made. And if you use the code that's attached to this video right here, if you use that code, you put in Steel Horse, and they will not only will they save 10%, but we actually make a little commission off of the sale. So it works out pretty darn good. Cindy, how are we looking up there in the monitors? Are we looking okay?
Yep, we're looking good.
Yeah, we're set up pretty good?
We're set up
All right,
good.
I can't see the monitors from here. So.
I can see it.
Okay. We are here at the Steel Horse Thunder studio, cleaning up 2024. Right? This is the end of 2024. Pretty amazing. Cindy, we got a chance to go see Santa up at Southside Harley-Davidson.
Which means it's Christmas.
That always means Christmas time. I got to ask you, what'd you ask Santa for Christmas this year?
I didn't get to sit on his lap.
All right, perv. How many glasses of wine have you had?
I asked for a good 2025. That's all I want, is a good year next year.
Is that right?
It is.
Not me. I wanted cigars.
Well.
And shoes.
Yeah.
But mostly cigars.
Mostly cigars.
That's what I asked for.
Yeah.
Santa, just give me cigars. That's all I need.
I bet he'll get them to you.
I'll be all right. Yeah. You know, when you get older, it's Christmas. It's people say, oh, well, Christmas is for the kids. It's for the kids. And it is, as far as that part goes. As far as Santa goes and all that stuff. Of course, that's for the kids. But I don't know. I still like it. I know on the way out here to the studio, we went through the Jimmy Nash Park there in Martinsville and was able to look at the decorations. They had that whole park decked out with lights and everything else. It was quite something. Yeah, it really was. It was amazing going through there and seeing all that stuff. If it doesn't cheer you up, there's something seriously wrong. It just makes you feel good when you drive through there.
And they do that every year. They put those lights up every year, and it's pretty cool that they do that. I mean, I know there's other places that charge you to go and look at the Christmas lights that you drive through, and they have a donation bucket out there so you can donate if you want to, but they do a really good job.
I'm going to turn my chair a little bit here. I felt like I was out there. I wanted to sit up at the table.
Out there in nowhere land?
I wanted to sit up at the table with you. You like the decorations here? I mean, we've got our Badass Beard Care stuff out here, of course, them being the sponsor and all that, but I thought, why not put a little Badass Beard Care underneath the Christmas tree? Charlie Brown's Christmas tree, because, if you know somebody with a beard, that's a pretty good product, and it actually would come in handy, make great Christmas presents. But Cindy, so that's all you asked Santa for? You didn't ask for nothing else, huh?
I did not. This has been a pretty tough year, so I'm just hoping the next year is going to be better.
It's just an easy.
It's just going to be an easy year next year instead of the hectic year it's been.
All right. Yeah, I figure as long as he brings me some cigars and some beers, that way,
Well, yeah. I mean, he could bring me some wine. I don't mind wine.
If we go into a bad time, a rough time, World War III breaks out, I want to make sure I got beer and cigars.
Well, yeah.
I don't want to go through that crap sober.
Nope. Gotta have lots of wine, lots of beer, and your cigars.
Yeah, right. That is the way we got to go.
No, I love seeing Santa Claus. It's pretty awesome when we get to go up there and see Santa. And this year they brought in the Grinch, so that was pretty cool to see the Grinch also, because I'm little Cindy Lou Who, so.
It was actually really cool having the Grinch there, and you could tell everybody loved it. All the kids were dressed like the Grinch. It was like, wow, this is kind of a big deal right here. People really like this, so. So yeah, it was really cool, you know, and of course, you know, getting decked out here, got the Steel Horse Thunder stocking hanging up and some other decorations here. It's just, I don't know, it feels good. We're only a few days away, you know, a couple days away from Christmas now, and kind of waiting to see what happens. They're talking like it might rain Christmas Eve and Christmas Day and all that. I would much rather have snow. Yes, I'd much rather it get dropped down to about 25 degrees, 28 degrees, and let the snow come down, man.
Yeah.
That's to me, it'd be
That's
much
Christmas.
nicer. We have a tendency to go to our cabin in the woods on Christmas Eve. I've been doing that now for, gosh, it's got to be over 10 years now.
Yeah.
And it's been a pretty nice tradition. Unfortunately, when it's raining, we probably won't do it in the rain. Snow, we've done it several times in the snow. Absolutely amazing.
You know, we have had snow a couple times this month, and it's so funny because the first thing that I always sing when I see snow is it's beginning to look a lot like Christmas. It doesn't matter whether it's December or January. I'm still going to sing it.
Yeah. And unfortunately now it's warming up. And so
Right.
we're going to have rain instead. So we may not be doing the whole cabin in the woods, you know, and that's sad, but again, it is what it is. You know, I'm looking back at this time of year. Of course, you have Christmas and you're planning all that stuff, but you know, a week from now, we're talking New Year's. You know what I'm saying? We're talking 2025. You're going to be at New Year's, and you know, I know we all make New Year's resolutions, and we have goals and ideas of what we want 2025 to be and all that, but sometimes I think what we forget to do is look back the other way. What if we look back on 2024? Can you find any good memories? It's been a tough year, but
it's been a tough year, but there's good memories. We went to a lot of concerts. We covered a lot of rides, you know, charity rides that were very meaningful and very heartfelt. We got to see Santa and the Grinch, and we did the ride with Rupert, which we actually did that ride, so that was pretty cool. So yeah, there's a lot of good memories that happened in 2024.
Well, give me one of your. Now I know you just rattled off a few things, but a highlight, 2024 highlight. You know, it was a rough year, but we did get to do some of our bucket list, and we did get to go see Steve Winwood, which was pretty cool. Amazing time. And it was just me and you. Normally we would take the whole family and go see a concert. We did that a lot, but this time we didn't. We went, and yeah, that was probably one of my highlights. I know there's more. If I think back, I mean, it feels like this year went by so fast, but when you think back, there's different things that you do, you know, like doing the Schnocktoberfest was, you know, pretty darn fun. We did, you know, Easter with all the family, and it's always fun to watch the kids get the Easter eggs. Yep, Garage Thanksgiving.
Garage Thanksgiving.
That was awesome.
That was awesome. Yeah, we've had quite a going to the soiree just a few weeks ago or a week ago. Heck, I don't even remember.
Yeah, a couple weeks ago. Yeah, very beginning of December. First weekend in December, yeah. Up at Cedar Creek.
Going to see, yeah, my mind went blank. In Kentucky.
Frankfort, Kentucky.
We
did a podcast,
down there with Anthony Rosano, and that was pretty cool. It was, he did an awesome show, and then, you know, we got to stick around, and it was late, but we did a podcast with him, and that was awesome.
That was cool, doing a podcast on location, being set up in that
little record shop.
Muskets Music Station there in Frankfort, Kentucky, right in the old town Frankfort. They kept their doors open. They were open past midnight because we didn't leave there until midnight or so by the time we got done with everything, and they were still open for business when we left. You know, Frankfort, Kentucky is one of those things from central Indiana. You're talking about a 3-hour ride. If you're in a car, you're just hopping on the interstate highway, zip, you're running to Louisville, then you're running up, heading towards Lexington until you get to Frankfort. You're talking 3 hours. On a motorcycle taking back roads, you're probably looking 4 to 5 hours. But it's a beautiful ride.
Yeah.
Absolutely beautiful ride. To do the podcast down there, to go down there, and then you're right in the middle of bourbon. You're right on the bourbon trail, right? So Frankfort, Kentucky's got a ton of different bourbons there. They had, the outdoor concert with Rosano and the Conquerors. And if you're wondering what kind of music does Anthony Rosano and the Conquerors play, I always say if you like your blues rockin' and you want to add 4 fingers of funk, that is the Conquerors.
Right.
That's what they are, man. They are a funky blues band, and they are fantastic. But they do covers. You know what I mean? He's got several albums out, but they do a lot of, not a lot, but they do other covered songs and stuff like that. And it's songs you're not expecting to hear. You
yeah,
hear
it was hilarious when he talked about the song that his mom used to sing to him at night, and I thought it was what do you think of when you think of somebody's mom singing them to sleep? It's surely not. What was the song?
Black Sabbath, War Pigs.
War Pigs. That's what it was, and it was like, huh.
I know the show was over, they had to stop, and everybody was cheering for more. And he's like, man, we'll get in trouble if we're not allowed to go over this time limit. And everybody's like, come on, come on. So he's like, all right, I'm going to do one more song. I'm going to play a song for you that my mom used to sing to me every night when I was going to sleep. This is how she would sing me to sleep. And you're expecting a nice, I was like, okay, this is going to be a little tender song or whatever. And he breaks into War Pigs. Yeah. It's like, holy cow.
And it was good.
They did a fantastic job. They did War Pigs. They did another cover was, what's the song by
Billie
Prince?
Jean. No, Prince.
Cry? Is that what it's called?
Oh, When the Doves Cry, yes.
No, not When Doves Cry, but you don't have to be a fish to be my girl. Oh! No, you know what song I'm talking about.
I do, and I can't even think of the name now that you sing it.
But yeah, they did a version of that, and it was like all of a sudden he starts getting into the chorus, and I'm like, wait a second, is this Prince? It was just blew me away the way they did that song. But that's how they are. Little Grand Funk Railroad, but their own music is so freaking good, and they were all motorcycle riders, and that's why we had met them through Tab and Wah at some shows, and then we were able to meet up with them there. They agreed to do the podcast. They all ride. It's a 3-piece blues band, and every one of them rides motorcycles. And it was just super cool to be able to hook up with them and be able to spend some time talking. It was just really cool. That literally is one of my highlights of the year. We have not been able to take a vacation in several years, just due to the way our life is right now. And we used to take vacations all the time. We like to travel. That's what we like to do. And we haven't been able to for a few years. The only thing we could do this year, I think we had 2 overnighters. We were able to take off on a Friday, come right back on a Saturday, and or take off on a Saturday, come back on a Sunday. So we only got to do 2 of those. And I joked about it, saying, man, it was an 18-hour vacation, but boy, what a great 18 hours. And that was one of them. It was. Down to Frankfurt, that was one overnighter. And then we did another overnighter to Covington, Kentucky, which is basically Cincinnati. And we saw Tab there. And it was just, those were some of my highlights. For me, if I'm going to look back and say, what did I really enjoy? It's those couple nights. We did see Whiskey Myers. Since we're on the music theme, seeing Whiskey Myers with literally the whole family. We were only missing 2 out of the whole, that live here in Indiana. Obviously, there's more family that lives farther away. But as far as all of us that live in this area, all but 2 made it to the Whiskey Myers concert. And the Whiskey Myers show was fantastic, like they always are. You were talking about Steve Winwood. It's one that I've never seen in concert. I loved what he did with Blind Faith, with Clapton, Spencer Davis, group, Traffic, all those bands. I just loved everything he did. Never got to see him live. Saw all these other ones live, but never saw him. And so when he came to town, to Indianapolis with the Doobie Brothers, they were playing up at Deer Creek, which I hate Deer Creek.
Yeah, even though it's not called Deer Creek.
Anybody from Indiana knows it as Deer Creek. And I hate that venue. It's too big. It's too chaotic. I just don't like that venue. But that was the only place he was playing. We've been talking about it for years. If he ever decides to get back on the road, I want to go see him. So I bit the bullet and drove up there, and we went to see him there. And I just remember saying, "Can we just take our chairs and sit at the back of the lawn? Well, let's just park it right here next to the beer tent." You know what I mean? And just stay out of the whole craziness. And you talk about a moment, a highlight moment of the year was at that show when Steve Winwood started playing Dear Mr. Fantasy. And he broke into the song, and of course, you know, I'm up on my feet. It's like, you know, that's just such a great song. And the threat of rain had been in the air, and it started to rain during that song. And of course, we're out in the back of the field, so we're in the rain. And it rained just a little bit. Then all of a sudden, it rained really hard for about a minute, but then it stopped. And so we're soaking wet now. But he's playing Dear Mr. Fantasy, and he's into one of the guitar solos and stuff. And I remember everybody was turning around. I remember turning around. The rain had stopped. The sun had come back out. And now there's this big-ass rainbow all the way as far as you could see. And it was so stinking cool while he's playing Dear Mr. Fantasy, standing in the rain, looking at the rainbow. The sun is now shining. It's like, dear Lord, all we're missing is the mushrooms. And this would have been literally the perfect setting. It was, that to me was one of the fondest moments of 2024 for me. That just the way that whole thing, because you know, I went, Can't Find My Way Back Home. You know, that's one of my absolute favorite songs of all time from anybody. And I was like, I just want to hear him do that live. I never got to hear him live. I want to hear him do that song live. And of course, he starts the show off playing Glad, which is an instrumental from Traffic. So it was like, oh, sweet. He's starting it off with this. That's awesome. And then went right from that right into Can't Find My Way Back Home. And I was like, huh, I guess we can go home now. And it was a magical night. And again, the Doobie Brothers, they came on afterwards, and I've always liked the Doobie Brothers too. But we were definitely there for Steve Winwood. In fact, I would say the majority of the crowd was there for Steve Winwood. The reaction to his music compared to what the Doobie Brothers did, Steve Winwood had everybody. I think you nailed it. You made the comment. You said, you know, seeing Steve Winwood, it was just like seeing Steve Winwood. Seeing the Doobie Brothers was like watching a cover band do the Doobie Brothers. Not that it was bad. No. I think the funny thing was,
the funny thing was that I thought that I would know all the music from the Doobie Brothers, and I wouldn't know any, except for a few of Steve Winwood. And no, it was completely opposite. I knew every song that Steve Winwood did, and I knew nothing except for a couple of songs that the Doobie Brothers did.
And I remember I kept telling you when we were going there, and you said, you know, I only know a couple of his songs. I was like, you're going to be amazed how many of his songs you know.
Yeah, and
because he's got such a catalog. It's like, oh no, every song he sings, you're gonna. And you were like, I think I knew every song he played, and it's just that was just so amazing. And now again, don't get me wrong, Doobie Brothers, the last half hour of their show, fantastic, right? Absolutely fantastic. Everybody left that concert, and again, most everybody was our age. You know, this is an old, you know, these are two old timers, so it was a much older crowd there, and it was just super cool to watch. I love watching old people just cut loose. I love watching the old stoners that are just out there, the old hippies that are out there, the other ones that you can tell have very responsible and respectful jobs, going out there and just cutting loose and having a good time.
And even you did.
Even I did.
Even you did.
Even I did. It was just a good time.
It was.
Super fun. Super fun. So yeah, that was, as far as moments go, that's probably one of my best, my favorite moments of 2024 was Dear Mr. Fantasy. But I agree with you. And I talked about the overnighters, you talked about the music, and of course the overnighters both included music. And it's yeah, we saw a lot of great shows this year.
We did.
A lot of great shows.
Warren Haynes.
With the orchestra,
With the
Indianapolis orchestra, we got to see the Warren Haynes Band, which we talk about Tab and Wah all the time. One of the drummers, main drummer for Tab and Wah, Terrence Higgins, who has won all sorts of Grammys and stuff, is also plays with Warren Haynes, the Warren Haynes Band, not Government Mule or not Allman Brothers, but the Warren Haynes Band. And so we actually saw him with Warren Haynes. He was playing drums for that show. Got to hear him play Whip and Post, so that was super cool to hear. I had never, ever even thought that he'd play that song, and that was pretty awesome. But yeah, I think that weekend we actually saw Warren Haynes on Friday night, and then Saturday night we went back with some other people, and we saw Jamie Johnson and Drake White, because we saw Drake White a couple times this year. Kind of like a Tab and Wah. We usually see Tab. We usually see Tab 3 or 4 times a year. We try to make at least 4 of his shows a year.
We did see J.J. Gray again this year.
We did see J.J. Gray again. J.J. Gray and Mofro. They kind of have that swampy sound, that Florida swamp sound.
That's good.
Yeah, Duval County. Duval County boy is what he is, down around Jacksonville. Yeah, just saw some really, really, really good shows, and it was a lot of fun. A lot of fun.
Yep.
So we're getting ready to go into the new year. Any New Year's resolutions?
No, but one other highlight, and this is very personal, but one of the highlights.
You want to unplug the microphone?
No.
Oh, okay. You said it was very personal, so I didn't know.
Whatever. With Mom not knowing my mom has dementia, and she doesn't know who I am, and she hasn't known who I am for the past, couple years. And just the first time it snowed this year, we had went out and we got out of the truck and everything was covered in snow, and she turned around and said, "Oh, Cindy, it's so beautiful." And that was probably one of my major highlights, that my mom, because I could tell this was one time I actually knew for sure she knew who I was. So.
Right. Yes, because she knows you're Cindy. And then there's the other Cindy. So, yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Very cool when they have that moment of clarity, and she knew I was Cindy, her daughter, not Cindy, her caretaker.
Right.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. That is pretty cool.
So yeah, that would be a highlight for me. But yeah, resolutions, stay healthy, get fit, be able to ride my motorcycle. There's a lot of stuff that I hope will become a New Year's resolution for me. So. Yeah,
health is probably on the top of the list.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, all of us that are getting older now, I mean, it needs to be on the top of the list. I know I have put on some weight and everything else, and so for me, my goal is to lose some weight.
So what is your resolution?
I want to get back down to my playing weight, you know what I mean? This fatty 2x4 isn't good for me. I definitely want to lose some weight. I don't really make New Year's resolutions, but this year, one of my plans for this year is, a lot of people do dry January.
Dry January.
And that's kind of a more popular thing now. Whereas the month of January, people just don't drink any alcohol for the whole month, and just kind of give your body a chance to fix itself.
Yeah.
I am going to do that this year. I don't drink a whole lot.
Right.
You know what I mean? This is what I drink. I drink my beer. I drink light beer at that.
Well, we're not doing a dry December, so I may have to get up and get me some more wine.
I meant to tell you to make sure you keep a bottle sitting right here beside you. I don't know.
I don't know that there is one right beside me, but
yeah, it's one of those things where Yeah, you come sit back down. You come sit back down, and I'll get it for you because I know where it's at.
Okay.
You just got up and ran off before I had a chance to have you stop. I want to do the dry January, but mainly because I'm going to go on the carnivore diet for a month. And I know some people are looking at me like, carnivore diet. And it's like, that is a real thing. It's one of the original diets we were all on. And it's kind of one of those things. Let me get you some wine. There you go. I'll let you pour it yourself. I don't want to spill it. But I knew we had that on the bar. I would like to do the carnivore diet because a lot of the research I've done, a lot of the people I know that do it on a regular basis have all said joint pain goes almost immediately. And, my problem is I like bread. I like, I eat all sorts of bread.
Right.
I eat lots of pretzels. That's my snack of choice. I do eat meat. So, eating meat's not a problem because I like that. But, I'm used to having that baked potato smothered in butter. I like my green beans. I like my corn. I like my, I like that stuff. So it's going to be weird to go just that. But again, the other thing is, obviously, hops, barley, wheat. You're not going to drink beer with that because that's all plant. Well, I also like soda. And you know me.
I do.
If I have a vice, if I have something that I'm actually addicted to, it would be Dr. Pepper. It's soda. And then people are like, oh, well, that caffeine. It's got nothing to do with caffeine. Because if it was caffeine-free Dr. Pepper, I'd still drink it the exact same way. Right? It's not the sugar. I'm not looking for a sugar buzz. I'm not looking for a caffeine buzz. I like the bubbles.
It's those little bubbles.
The little bubbles, boy. You pour that over ice and it just bubbles up. And now that I smoke cigars more than I used to, and I smoke about, a cigar a day, I probably average one a day because there's times I don't smoke any, but then I might hit a weekend, I may have 2 cigars, on a Saturday or a Sunday, I may have 3 cigars. Now, I may go the rest of the week without smoking one. But I think if you averaged it out, it's probably one a day. And the best thing to drink with a cigar is soda.
Which is so funny because most people say whiskey or bourbon. Or
most people will do a cognac or a tab. After every show, you're going to find him at a tour bus. He's going to be smoking a cigar and he's going to be drinking his cognac. That's what he likes, and most people do. You pair it up with certain whiskeys and scotch and bourbons and all this stuff, and I'll do that on occasion, but for me, give me a root beer. Give me a cream soda. Give me a Dr. Pepper. That goes great with a cigar. So that's going to be the hardest part for me. Going without beer, not an issue at all. Anybody that knows me I went 20 plus years without any alcohol. Alcohol's just never been that big of a deal to me.
But soda?
Soda, on the other hand, I went 3 years without it. Went 3 years where I drank nothing but water. And I was in probably the best shape of my life. And so I want to get back to that. I want to spend a month and just see how it works for me. Here's what I say about diets all the time. And I'm not even calling this a diet. I want to do the carnivore thing. Because there's some very respectable people that have done it. And they're like, Scott, you have no idea how much better you're going to feel within weeks. And so I thought, well, if I can do the whole month of January, if I'm feeling great, I might try it for, February. I may go 2 months. Who knows? I may go 2 days and say, all right, yeah, I'm done. Thrown in the towel. And, so we'll just see what happens with it. But, obviously in the spring, we grow a lot of our own food. And we have grapevines and we have blackberry trellises where we harvest massive amounts of blackberries and stuff. So the grapes are starting to become more plentiful. I love that stuff, and so I love my peppers. I love you make our own salsas and sauces out of the tomatoes and all that, and so you know, I don't want to do the carnivore diet for the rest of my life, but I'd like to do it for a month or two just to see. And it might be one of those things, kind of like a dry January, where you just kind of detox your body for a month. So that's my goal. That's my goal for 2025, is to do the carnivore diet for 1 month and see how I do.
No, well, I'll be really thinking about you and praying for you, because it would be tough.
The no pretzels and the no soda, that's bar none the hardest.
Yeah.
Bar none the hardest
Once
thing.
you get used to not having all that, once your body isn't craving that, then it probably gets easier as you go. It's getting past that time of that craving it.
Well, when I did it in 2000, I had some serious health issues and spent some time in the hospital and everything else, and had parts of me removed and everything else. When I came out of there, that's when I stopped drinking the soda. And I went 3 years.
I know why you quit drinking the soda. Because the only thing you wanted was that orange crush. And when you finally got that orange crush that you wanted, you couldn't stand it.
It was disgusting.
And then you just stopped drinking soda.
And I did. But I just remember when they were talking about soda. Actually, I think I'd quit drinking the soda because my health issue started at the beginning of 2000. I didn't have my surgeries until the end of 2000. But
I was kidding, actually.
I know. But I just remember when I stopped drinking the soda, it was months. And I mean months before I got past that. I feel like crap. I have a headache. I just don't have any energy. I feel like dirt. I just, ugh. And I was that way for months. I'm talking like 3 months. And I just remember how long it took. Now, back in those days, hell, I could drink a 12-pack of Dr. Pepper in a day, every day. I drank at least 6 every day. Yeah. And, now I drink 1 a day, sometimes 2 a day. And then I may have days where I don't drink any. So, I mean, again, it's not, I don't think it's going to be as hard as it was that time, but it's, I know it'll be difficult. Like I said, and I may have to cheat. I may have to have my natural black cherry soda when I'm smoking my cigars, because that's kind of become my new thing. I like the black cherry, or I like the cream. Like I said, the root beer. There's just certain sodas that just go great with cigars. I'm just not big on whiskeys. I'm not big on bourbons. Sipping tequila. Now, I love a good tequila shot with the salt and the lime, and I just enjoy doing the whole thing. I just enjoy that.
But to just sit and sip it.
But to sit and just sip a little bit of tequila, and I've had some really, really, really high-end tequila, and it was like, no. I'd still rather give me a Juanitos, old horny toes tequila, and I'll just do a shot and with my salt and my, so that'll be my first thing. So that's my first thing for 2025. So you ain't got nothing like that?
I'm gonna kind of try to do it with you.
You gonna do it? You gonna do it?
I am.
Carnivore?
Yeah, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna try it. Again, I don't know if I can. I don't snack that much. I don't feel like. But I do like my potato chips with cottage cheese, and I think I can. And I think on the carnivore diet, I know it's all hard cheeses, but I think that you can have a little bit of cheese.
A little bit of hard cheese, they say.
Yeah.
And same as eggs, in the morning, I can still eat bacon and eggs.
Right.
Just no toast.
Yeah.
None of those bagels
None
that
of
I like
bagels
to eat.
that you like. So yeah, I'm gonna try it. I'm gonna see how it goes for me. Not that I have as many aches and pains or anything, but I feel like that if it makes me feel better and healthier, and after the past couple of years of just running, I feel like that. It's not that I don't feel like I have energy, but I feel like that it would definitely clear my mind. Maybe, I don't know, because it's supposed to help with your whole body system. Right. So yeah, I'm gonna try it with you. Yeah.
Health's got to be right at the very top.
Definitely.
And then and that's physically and mentally and all that. It definitely has to be at the top. And then as far as 2025 goes, one thing looking back on 24 is doing these podcasts. We started doing these podcasts in 2024 this year, and I've absolutely loved it. And we call it Steel Horse Thunder and Beyond because we talk cigars, we talk motorcycles, of course, but we do talk about other things. Like when we did the thing with Anthony Rosano and the Conquerors, we talked to all three of the guys. We did a big table where we all four of us sat together at the table, and we talked more about their motorcycling than we did their music. It's just kind of fun. We had Cowboy on here, and he was talking about his rodeo days, riding real horses. We had Shaky on here talking about his drag racing. Who else? I had my buddy Bob Schreckengast, minister friend of mine.
Yeah, you had Rupert on here.
We had Rupert on here talking about Survivor, talking about family pets, talking about Rupert's ride, rupertskids.org. And
you had A-Bait.
We did Jay Jackson from A-Bait. We did that one on location. We went to their office up in Bargersville, and he explained to everybody what A-Bait is all about. So it's just been fun to be able to have different people on here and not necessarily have to stick to just motorcycles. My buddy Bob Schreckengast, Shrek is what we call him. He came on and did the podcast with me, and we just explained how does he tie in with this? Well, simple. He gave us a vehicle that we were able to sell in order to get the money to pay Wish TV to get the TV show back on the air from after Steve Reeves had the show, and everything's entwined. You know what I'm saying? We're all entwined like that, and it's a very, very, very small group when it comes right down to it. So it's just a lot of fun. I've really enjoyed doing the podcasts, so I'm looking forward to doing those. Right now we do 2 a month. Usually the first one in the month is just me and Cameraman Wes talking. I know you and I have done one other one this year together like this, but generally that first one, it's me and Cameraman Wes smoking a cigar and talking about the cigars, and then talking about everything else. I mean, we get into conspiracy theories, we get into whatever, and then again with the other guests, when we have the guest on the second one of the month, we just kind of go with whatever we have. Rupert stopped me at one point in time. He goes, "Do we need to stop and start over again? We never did an intro or anything." I was like, "No, brother, let's just keep it rolling, man. This is how you do it." So I do love the freedom that you have with the podcast. You don't have to watch the clock. You don't have to anything. It's just not a big deal. A lot of fun. So I'm really looking forward to. We are trying to already, line up guests for next year that we want to do. I want to get down to Bubba Blackwell. I'd love to be able to get down to his place and sit out in his shop and talk and do a podcast from there. We had the privilege of being able to work with Bubba for, a good 15 years or so. From 03 up until the time he was done. And in fact, 05. 05 was the first jump. We went in 03 up to Milwaukee when he did his comeback jump. And we knew him. We knew him at the time, and we hung out with him afterwards and kind of helped organize the lines that were coming through to get autographs and stuff. But we weren't really a part of his team. And then I remember in February of 05 was the first time I actually went down as a member of the Bubba Blackwell team. wore the uniform and built the ramps and did all that stuff. And I just remember how cool that was. And that's going to be 20 years ago. In February,
Crazy.
20 years ago in February, this next February, it will be 20 years. So, love to be able to talk with him. We've all changed so much over the last 20 years, and just see where he's at now in life, and talk about some of the good times. I know we have talked with Jenny DeVoe, local artist here in Indiana. I've talked with one of the other artist around here, McCarthy. Talked with him about doing the podcast. So we've got some people lined up already, and I want to continue doing the podcast, and eventually I'd like to do more than just 2 a month. Right now, that's all we have. That's all. Right. That's all the time we have, and even that is a struggle sometimes. You know, when you're trying to set it up with other people, and you're on everybody else's time frame and schedule and this and that. I mean, Rupert, from when we first talked about him doing this ride to when he actually came out, or doing this podcast, and actually came out and did the podcast, you're talking probably 4 or 5 months in between there. And it's just tough, man. Everybody's busy.
Everybody. So
definitely want to keep the podcast going. The studio, 2025, I want to do even more with the studio.
Nope.
It's coming along pretty darn good, I think.
It is.
It's little by little. We're doing things in here. You know, this is the way we shoot our podcast. This is the way we shoot our Monday Night Lives. We just simply turn the table, and we can sit behind the table. But we can do these kind of shoots here. But we've also had to do longer shoots, and so now we've got this studio set up to where we have 2 different angles. Yeah. So when we got to do a long shot, now we have a nice long shot we can do that still looks good and looks professional and looks, you know.
It's getting there.
You want it to look good. You want it to sound good. That's you know, the podcast mainly audio, because most of our platforms is just audio.
Right.
Spotify and YouTube, you can actually watch the video, but everything else is just audio anyway. But the studio's come along real well. We do smoke cigars in here. We have a big exhaust fan that we run when we're smoking cigars. This time of year, it's cold, so you have heaters running and everything else. I'm not smoking a cigar tonight for that very reason. By the time you get a heaters going in here, so you got your furnace running, and then you have your exhaust running, it can get a little louder in here, and it doesn't go well over the microphone. So I'm not smoking a cigar only because I wanted it to be a little quieter tonight. Right. It's Christmas time. I want to set the Christmassy mood. You know what I'm saying? Yep. So in 2025, I know we've got some other exhaust systems we're going to be doing in here to you know, that's the whole trick about a cigar lounge, is you got to be able to get rid of the smoke. Yes, just on the other side of me, we have a smoke eater, you know, a purifier that takes the smoke out, takes the odor out, but you also need exhaust going as well. So we already found the ones we want. They're a little pricey, but they're going to be super quiet. We'll have no problems whatsoever running those while we're doing the broadcast. So I can't wait to get that done, and then that will pretty much finish things up here in the studio. Yeah. You know, the tables, you know, we did all these by hand. We've made all this stuff ourselves. I have a new set of legs for this one, just haven't come in yet. But slowly but surely we're getting all of our furniture.
It takes time.
It takes some time.
And it takes money, and you know, sometimes it has to go slow. You can't just buy everything all at once.
That's exactly right.
But it's getting there. You've done a fantastic job.
So 2025, I think, is going to be a good year. We already have sponsorship coming on board, new sponsorship coming on board. I know Ladendorf Law has already verbally committed to staying on board 2025. I have not talked with the others yet, as far as Krambo's and Roy Rogers Heating and Air. So I'm not sure where they're going to stand, but I do know the Groggy Goat and / Greek's Pizzeria in Martinsville, Indiana. I know they want to come on board as a sponsor, and there's a few other ones that have already contacted us. And so I just think it's just super cool. I wanted to do 12 seasons. When we originally took this show from Steve, I said, if I can do, he did 12 years, 12 seasons. So I thought, if I can do 12 seasons, he did them, and he was 63 years old when he was done after 12 seasons. Wanted to draw Social Security, already had his teacher's pension, was going to be done. And I thought, well, if I do it for 12 seasons, I will then be 63. Maybe I'll be ready to draw Social Security, and I'll be done. And then this is the end of our 12th season.
Yep.
And I have no desire to stop. I enjoy the way we do it now. I enjoy it so much more now than when we were on Wish TV. It's just so much more freedom doing this, and it's been a lot of fun.
It has been a lot of fun. It's a lot different. I know it's a lot more work for you, of course, because I haven't had as much time to put into it, but it is a lot more enjoyable. It's not time. This is how it has to be. This is how it has to be. It makes it much more easy. It's nice to have people come out, do the Facebook Live, come out and do the podcast. You know, be able to visit with people, even going out to other places to do them. It makes it a lot more enjoyable than having to, okay, this is where you got to be, and you got this many minutes, and that's all you got. So it doesn't matter how many people you talk to. If you go longer, you can put it on there because you don't have to cut it out.
Yep.
So it makes it very much more enjoyable than it was.
Much more enjoyable, much more freedom. But yes, it is a lot more work. Mm-hmm. And that's what I tell everybody. It's a lot more work. We have to do a lot more now. We're doing every Monday. Mm-hmm. We're still filming on the weekends and then doing every Monday Night Live. And we keep up with our Facebook page. And, we're constantly advertising as much for everybody, in their rides and all that kind of stuff. And so it's a lot more work and a lot more time consuming, but it's just so much more fun to do it. I really enjoy doing it.
Yeah, it is a lot of fun.
So yeah, as far as 2025 goes, I want to do the work in here and all that. As far as the show, I might as well say it again because I say it every year. I want to do more destination rides. Haven't done it yet. Been saying it for 5 years now, and we haven't done more destination rides than we've ever done. So maybe this will be the year. Maybe this will be it. I do know we're going to have a motorcycle expo finally. Since 2020. They're finally doing a motorcycle expo with the Boat Sport and Travel Show this year. So in February, we're going to get to go up to Expo Hall and that's was always one of our highlights of the year, was going up there and seeing all of our fans and seeing all of our friends and making new friends. It's just always a good time. So hopefully, that will take off and get everybody geared back up again for motorcycling.
And the Harley stores now have more motorcycles. So, I mean, if you can go up and ride some of the bikes, the new bikes, because now they have them. They didn't have them before. It's been a long time since they've had motorcycles in the shops. And, to go up to Southside to see Santa this year, and the whole inside of Southside was full of motorcycles. I mean, it's been a long time since you've really seen all those bikes in there. So.
Full of new bikes. Brand new motorcycles, yes. Yeah, it got so bad all the dealerships were just putting all their used bikes out there because they didn't have a new bike to put on the floor. Right. We called it the dance floor because it was so empty for a while. Back in the 90s, Harley was really, really they were pumping, man. And it took 2 years to get a motorcycle. When you bought a bike, my Road King, it's a 2000 Road King. I bought it in 98. Put my money down, my deposit down, and it took till 2000 before I got my motorcycle. And so you never got a chance to ride one. I'd never been on a Road King a day in my life, and I'm spending 18 grand on it, saying, dear God, I hope I like it. You know what I mean? Yeah. Talk about a shot in the dark. Yeah. And but then things changed and they started having all these bikes, and you didn't have to wait for them anymore. And then you were able to do demo days where you got to go ride the bikes and stuff. And
which I was very thankful for, because that's how I got my bike, is when we went to a demo day and rode my bike, and it was like, put a windshield on it and I'll take it home. So yeah. And
that's exactly what happened. But I've always gone to these dealerships and done test rides and for the show, and haven't been able to do it now because the bikes are already bought before they come in. Yeah. It's already somebody's bike. When this brand new say a Street Glide, brand new Street Glide comes in, they could call me before and say, hey man, we got the new Street Glide in, you want to come out and take it for a ride? And I'll come out there and I'll take it for a ride. Well now, we got the new Street Glide in, but it's so-and-so's. They've already paid for it, so you can't get on it. You know what I mean? Right. So I haven't really been able to do test rides for a while now. And I did one. I did the adventure bike. When Harley came out with their adventure bike, it was just one for the store, and that's all they got was just that one. And I was able to go up there and do that, and that was a few years back. But other than that, I haven't been able to do any of these test rides or anything, and haven't hopped on a new bike in several years. So that should be something new this year or for 2025 that we'll be able to do again, is start doing those. Because those are always great,
right?
You know, and it's always a lot of fun. I love being able to ride a new motorcycle anyway.
Oh, well, yeah.
And so
why not?
It's always fun to ride the new ones. I mean, I'm kind of lost on them because I ride such an old motorcycle that, you know, I don't know all the new electronics that they have on it. And of course, I'm riding these bikes, and they're like, "Oh, we got this, you know, 8-inch screen, and you got or 10-inch, 12-inch, whatever they are. Hell, I don't know." And they're like, "Yeah, you just use this mode, and they're, you know, you got all that." And I'm like,
"No,
dude, I don't know how any of that shit works." And now I'm up here on, you know, even Southside Harley Davidson. There's a lot of traffic and stuff. It's like, I'm not going to mess with none of that crap because I don't know how to work with any of that stuff. You know, I'll have them, hey, put the radio on for me before I pull out of here. So yeah, hopefully I'll be able to do some more of that. That'd be nice.
I just think it's going to be a good year next year. I think that just all the things that we want to do and plan to do. Again, some of them may not happen, but if you can set a goal or whatever you want to call it and say, this is what I'd like to happen, at least you are working towards that to where and getting it done. So I think that overall there's going to be a lot of good things come out of 2025, especially with Steel Horse and just the different things that we'd like to you know, get going.
Yeah, isn't that what we always say? I'd rather shoot for the moon and hit the ceiling than not to shoot at all.
Exactly.
So that's just the way it is. Well, I'm about done.
You're about done?
Yeah, I think that pretty much sums it up.
Well, since I know we're talking about 2025, but for 2024, and this is the Christmas season, holiday season, so and I know that you and Wes have already done a podcast talking about Christmas things also, I believe. So what does Christmas mean to you?
Well, it means you have to spend a lot of money on other people, and you hope that they spend that much on you.
You're funny.
What does Christmas mean to me? You know, I don't know that me and Wes even talked about that. We talked about favorite songs, favorite Christmas, you know, songs or movies or shows and that kind of stuff. What does Christmas itself mean to me? I mean, for those that don't know, I am a Christian minister. I was ordained back in 1998, I believe. I have a tendency to say 97 a lot of times, but I met the person that hooked me up with their organization. I met them in 97.
Yeah.
But it wasn't until 98 before I was actually ordained. So, so for me, Christmas is the birth of Jesus. It's, you know, the miracle and all that kind of stuff. And
it's the Charlie
Brown. Sure, Charlie Brown. I can tell you the meaning of Christmas. Lights, please. Yeah.
Yeah.
And lo, behold, the angel appeared. And there were shepherds with their flock in the fields. Heavenly host.
You can do the whole thing if you want.
So yeah, obviously it's the meaning of Christmas is, for me, it's the birth of Jesus.
Yes.
As far as the Christmas spirit, it's about being with family, being with friends. You know, when I say family, there are people that are not related to me by blood that are still my brother or my sister. You know what I mean? So to me, when I say family, I'm talking about whether it's your motorcycle family, whether it's your legitimate family, your parents, your children, your grandchildren, your great-grandchildren. But yeah, I'm talking your neighbors and people that you You know what I mean? It's different with me now. Back when I worked at the sawmill for 25 years, those people were my family. I mean, there was employees there that we all worked the whole, you know, I was there for 25 years, and there's other people that were there before I was there, and they were still there, you know, when we went out of business. I mean, so I had a lot of guys that I worked with, and I spent way more time with them than I did with you or the kids when we were all growing up, you know, when kids were growing up. So, you know, it's different now because I don't have that regular job, and I don't work a normal job. I work for so many different people because I work for myself. So I don't necessarily have that anymore, but, you know, you still got your motorcycle friends, and, you know, we it's just spending time, and I've said it forever. It's the stories. Enjoy life. You know, people talk about that, you know, we have to honor God, you know, and people make it such a spiritual thing. You need to honor God with your life. It's like, you know how you honor God with your life? You live it to the fullest. Live it to the fullest. And so that's what to me, that's how I honor God. I want to live my life to the fullest. I want to have good friends. I want to do fun things. I want to have memories that'll last after I'm dead and gone. I want people to say, Scott, and everybody just go, Scott. You know what I mean? And then have just the most ridiculous story to tell. Right. And to me, that's life. To me, when you can get to that point where you know when you're dead and gone, there's going to be people talking about you, and they're going to be laughing hysterical about some of the stupid stuff you did, some of the crazy things you did, and being an idiot and still being right about certain things. Right. You know, that kind of stuff. And so to me, that's what Christmas is about. Just being with your friends and spending, not worrying so much about the money, not worrying about buying the right gifts, not worry about, you know, I just assume nobody buy me a thing. Right. You know what I mean? My kids, I don't want my kids buying me anything. I don't want my grandkids buying me. I want to be able to hang out with them on Christmas Day and be able to have dinner together. Right. You know what I mean? Thanksgiving was the same way. It was just the fact that we could all get together, and the one place big enough for all of us to get was Cameraman Wes, his garage. And so we hooked up everything into the garage, and we had a garage Thanksgiving, and it was a freaking riot. It was. So to me, that's what Christmas is all about. Spending time with friends, and you know, how do I enjoy it? I enjoy it with a good cigar. We had Santa Claus right here in the Steel Horse studio several weeks ago. And there was a handful of us that were all in here, and Santa came, you know, Santa was here, and to be able to sit and smoke a cigar with Santa, have a drink or two, have a beer or two, that to me, that's what Christmas is all about. No, I agree. Well, you know, it's true, because when you're younger, you know, I mean, when you're really young, it's like Santa's coming, you're all excited and everything, and that's all you think about, you know, and that's how kids are, which is great. You know, I remember when the kids were little, and, you know, I would decorate the whole house Christmassy and take down all the stuff and put all Christmas stuff up, and it was always fun to be able to do all that. And as you get older, those kind of things aren't as important as just to spend the time with the family, the friends, just to be able to sit down and, you know, whether it's have a drink or go out to eat or whatever it is, just to spend time and have those memories and that fun time, and knowing that everybody, you know, that you care for people, that you love people, and you can show them that love. So I think that Christmas, it goes in stages, kind of like our life. It goes, our life is a season. It always changes. We go from season to season to season, not just in the physical of winter, spring, summer, fall, but even in our life we go through that. We have times where it's hard, sometimes when it's happy, sometimes when it's sad, sometimes when, you know, it's always a different season. And so Christmas is kind of the same way in life. You kind of go through all those seasons as you grow older. It just kind of, Christmas changes for you. Yes. And there's more, I think you think when you get older, you think about it more of, you want to be able to give, not that it has to be gifts, but you want to be able to give
and show people how much you care at Christmas time, because there's so many people hurting anyway, and so you want to be able to do that, just like this Santa's closets and the all those things that they, raise money, or they get the gifts for the kids, and then you see all these kids, and it's so good for us who are older to be able to see that and know that we're a part of that and being able to help somebody else's family. So I guess for me that's
Yeah.
as I ramble on.
Spend time with family, but also giving.
Yeah.
There's the season, season of giving, and it truly is.
And it doesn't have to be that it's got to be we've got to get this for them. We got to get this much money for them. It's just the part of just being able to give out of your heart. You may not have but $5 to put in a bucket, but you know that that's going to go towards something. Or you may have $100 to give to somebody. It just depending on what you can do, but it's still it's what's in your heart to do. So
yep,
I think that's what Christmas is all about.
I can remember back years ago when the kids were little, and I remember all my siblings, and we all had kids, and it was like we had to buy for all of our nieces and nephews, and it was like, dear God, there's a lot of them, and it was like I can barely buy stuff for my own kids. Now I'm buying stuff for all your kids. I have no idea what they like. They don't, it's not like,
right.
I haven't lived near my family for almost 40 years now. So, my family was just scattered. Most of it was down in Georgia, and then they ended up out in California, and some ended up in Virginia, and some are still in Georgia. And so it's like there's none around here in Indiana. And it was like, so I'm going to buy for all these, and it was like, and the stuff you're going to buy when you got that many to, you're like, all right, well, we got to keep it. This is long time ago. So it was $10 a kid or whatever. And it was like, it gets to the point as those kids got older, it's like, there ain't nothing $10 that they even want. And it's like, why am I going to buy your kids some crap they don't want? You're going to buy my kids crap they don't want. And I remember I finally put my foot down. I was like, hey, if you want to give stuff to our kids, that's fine. But we're not giving anything to your kids. The money I was going to spend on all your kids, we are going to help a family in our community. Because none of your kids need more crap.
Right.
My kids don't need more crap. But there are people that need badly, that are in dire straits right now. And if I could give them $100, it would literally change their Christmas.
Right.
And so it's like, and I remember saying, yeah, that's what we want to do. And that kind of became our thing.
Yeah.
Is we always picked an organization, we always picked a fund or something that we could do, and that's where that was one of the gifts the kids got in the morning.
Well,
was
we
the envelope.
We had a little envelope, and it was under the tree, and it would tell who that we gave the funds to that we could, have to give to, and that is something I think the kids do remember it because of that.
Oh yeah, yeah, and so the season of giving, it's the season of love. It's the season of, being kind to one another and thinking about the less fortunate and all that stuff. That is what Christmas is all about. I mean, it really is. And whether you celebrate Christmas, Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, whatever, I mean, obviously we celebrate Christmas. That doesn't mean I hate you if you celebrate Hanukkah or Kwanzaa or if you don't celebrate anything at all. That's each person. It's up to each individual to decide what they want in life. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
You decide. That's what's supposed to be so cool about this country is we all have the right to pursue happiness the way we see happiness, without condemnation. And so yeah, I don't know. I'm all psyched going through the park, seeing all the Christmas lights, got me in the mood. It's like, you know what? Christmas is here. I've got a CD that I've listened to forever. I probably have had that CD at least 20 years. At least. Well, longer than that. I had it back in the 90s.
Well, I was going to say, I think you had the tape before
it was the cassette tape
yes.
back in the early 90s. So, yeah, it's been around a while.
Oh, wow.
Been around a while, and that's my favorite album, CD, cassette tape, whatever you want to call it. So I've had that playing for the last couple of weeks now, and then going and seeing the lights, had Christmas music playing in the car, seeing the lights, and it was like, yeah, it's Christmas time.
It's Christmas. And it is just a few days away. So I just want to say Merry Christmas to everybody out there, all the motorcyclists, all the people, everybody. Enjoy Christmas with family, because so many people, and I hate to say it, but this time of year, a lot of people do end up having loss in their life. They end up, I don't know why, it seems like there's a lot of people that pass away around the holidays. So, you know, if somebody's a little grouchy this time of year, or if they're seemingly sad, you know, they may be going through something. So don't always think about the fact that they are just a grouchy person, or they're a mean person, or they're a this, or they're that, or, you know, why can't, you know, you go through a checkout line and somebody's mean, and it's like, you know, maybe they're just having a really bad time. You know, maybe they don't have any money for the kids and they're working their butts off. Who knows? You just never know. So if you're out there and about, you know, just try to have compassion and love towards people. Should do it all year long, but this time of year especially, because it is very hard to get through the holidays. A lot of people, just like me, have people that they're caring for that's going through a lot, you know, whether it be cancer, dementia, Alzheimer's, whatever. You know, there's so many sicknesses out there, and so many people are going through so much. And, you know, when you're going through that, a lot of times one little thing can set you off. So if you can try your hardest in your heart, please just be kind this time of year, because it is a hard time of year.
And in the same way as one little thing can set you off in a bad way, it can also set you off in a good way.
Right.
One kind word from somebody, one smile from somebody, one pat on the back from somebody might be all you need to make you go, oh, oh yeah. Thank God. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Sometimes that's all it takes. Sometimes it might be a text. Maybe it's just a quick little text saying, hey, man, thinking about you. You know you went through a rough time and everything else, but, you know, just want you to know my thoughts and prayers are with you, and, you know, whatever. And there's so many times that little thing is what gets that person through the day.
Exactly.
Because let's face it, we all know that. You know, depression is horrible this time of year for a lot of people. And, you know, whereas so many people look at Christmas as, oh, it's such a joyous time, it's not for everybody else. And like you said, you don't know what those people are going through. I heard somebody tell me, in fact, just today, a gentleman we were talking about that. He said, you know, we always look at people and determine whether that person's good or bad. He said, it's not always the person that's good or bad. Sometimes it's the situation or the time that's good or bad. They're going through a bad time. They're not a bad person. They're just going through a really bad time. And the other way, it can work the other way around too. Yeah, they're not that nice. They just had a good day today.
Yeah.
So it's just one of those things where instead of always wondering if that's a good or bad person, maybe you just look at them and think, well, are they going through a good time or a bad time right now?
Yeah.
So, and again, I understand it's so much easier to say than do sometimes. There's times you just want to rip somebody's head off. That's just the only thing that's going to give you any satisfaction is to punch them in the face. But
well, and I think sometimes we just get in, you know, it's everybody's in a hurry. You got to hurry, and sometimes that anxiety. I'm not going to lie, mine does it. But sometimes that anxiety gets to you, and you want to be nice, but it's like you're standing in line. Hurry! I got to get out of here. I got somewhere to go, and you know, by the time you get up there, it's not that you're mean. It's just like got to go. Hurry up, you know. Instead of being nice and, you know, I don't know.
All right. Well, why don't we wrap this thing up? And quick shout out again, Badass Beard Care. If you're looking for well, I don't think you can order it now and get it in time. So, but anyway, check them out. Go to their Facebook page, Badass Beard Care, on Facebook. You can go to their website, order the stuff. Use the link that's attached to this video. You'll save 10%. Plus, we actually make a little bit of commission off of the sale, and that's about it.
That's about it. Well, we should do a toast and say Merry Christmas and Happy New Year to everybody out there. May the season be great and the heartache be light.
There we go. There we go. Yes, so Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Happy Kwanzaa, Happy Boxing Day.
Yeah.
Good luck on the lottery. Whatever it is you do to celebrate, then that is it. And here is to 2025. See you guys in the new year.